Good evening, friends. Thank you for joining Candid Media every evening to follow what's happening in India and abroad. Thank you for sending me your useful comments and suggestions. If you believe in this channel, do hit the like button, share with friends, and spread the message. Our only mission is to bring you the truth and both sides of the story. Thank you so much. We will be joined by Lalit Ambardar in a short while. I'm just waiting for him to join. Meanwhile, welcome Gloria, Metal, Vidya, and Karthik. Thank you for joining us. So let me just start, and then when Lalit ji joins us, we will uh, connect him with us. So the first piece of news is that the breaking news is that Dalal Mehndi has been arrested. The complainant, Bakshish Singh, in 2003, alleged that the singer took 12 lakhs to send him to Canada. After the police registered his complaint, it received 35 more, as all complainants alleged that Mehndi brothers had promised to send them overseas illegally in return for money. Yeah, so let me just add Lalit ji. Welcome, Lalit.
Namaskar.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So it's good to see you back after a long time. I hope you're okay.
I'm better. I'm better. Thank you very much.
Yeah, yeah. So, Laliji, the first piece of news is that the Punjabi singer Dalal Mehndi on Thursday was handed a 2 year jail term by the Patiala District Court in an 18-year-old human trafficking case.
Yeah.
It was in 2003, and they alleged that the singer took 12 lakhs to send Bakshish Singh to Canada. After the police registered the complaint, it received 35 more, as all complainants alleged that Mehndi brothers had promised to send them overseas illegally in return for money. The singer was on bail as he had appealed against the trial court order. The singer has now been taken into custody and will be sent to Patiala jail, where Congress leader Navjot Singh Sidhu is also lodged. But why is Mehndi, who has served chartbusters in his discography, going to spend 2 years in jail? In 2003, the singer and his brother Shamsher and two others were booked by the Patiala police on the basis of a complaint filed by residents of Balbera village. The complainant, Bakshish Singh, alleged that the singer took 12 lakhs to send him to Canada. After the police registered his complaint, it received 35 more, as all complainants alleged that the Gandhi brothers had promised to send them overseas illegally in return for money. The Punjab police claimed that the brothers had taken two performance groups to the US in 98 and 99. During the tours, they allegedly dropped off 10 group members illegally. Dalay's offices at Connaught Place in Delhi were raided by the Patiala police, which seized documents. In 2006, the Patiala police had filed two discharge petitions stating Mehdi to be innocent, but the court insisted that he be prosecuted as there was sufficient evidence against him. In 2018, he was convicted by a local court in Patiala and sentenced to 2 years in jail. However, he was later granted bail. The Court of Judicial Magistrate had held him guilty under Section 420, which is cheating, and 120 of the Indian Penal Code, which is conspiracy. He was granted bail after he furnished a bail bond. Now, this isn't very surprising, is it, Lalit? It was something back in 2003. Why do you think this kind of delay has happened?
See, it's so unfortunate and so uninspiring that, when this case came into the public light in 2003 around, yeah? Can you imagine Daler Mehndi was at the peak of his career,
Yes.
right? I recall uh, from north to south, east to west, in every
Yeah.
marriage,
Yeah.
people will dance to the tunes of Daler Mehndi.
Yeah.
Yeah, what kind of greed drives this kind of this kind of it's a more than a crime. I think it's socially
Yes.
so so
Unique.
abominable. Yeah,
Yes.
people
Yes.
are inspired by you, right? And the
Yes.
kind of
Yes.
beginning Daler Mehndi, all these brothers have had, where they
Yeah.
started off from. I recall I was once, when in the when I was at the peak of a modeling career, I just was those days you had these music videos. Somebody
Yes.
had guided me that you should check up the Lair Mindy's group. They're making videos. I recall I had called up. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the call was received by this guy. He's young, one of the brothers. I think it was Mika, and he told me, oh, "You just share your pictures and all that." Some kind of conversation. That was the kind of reach they had. They were very popular, and Dilir Mehndi was a pop singer. He's the
Yeah, he
original
was.
Punjabi, original Indian pop singer
Yes, yes.
who everybody liked across India. So the greed has driven it to that. Now, all these years, I don't know. He still may have. He has used only the judicial possibilities available to him. I'm sure he still is going to pursue more. But the point is, as I say, it's more than being a crime as per the criminal law. It's a social. There's a social messaging going wrong about.
Yes,
What
yes.
drives your greed to do all this? And
Yeah,
Kabutar is called Kabutar Bazi in Punjab. Not that he was the
yeah,
first one to introduce it. There have been
mm,
even many sports persons were involved in it, carrying
yeah,
Indian groups and local music groups, for example,
yeah.
local cultural group. They will take a troop of say 50 people, and then 10 were
Drop.
dropped behind. So it was and it's a Kabutar
Uh,
Bazi was a proper. And if
yeah,
people will go to an agent, I want to go to
yeah,
America, I want to
yeah.
immigrate to say UK or Europe, anywhere. One of the options one would be offered was this Kabutarbazi. If one was
And
ready to pay,
whether they can
yeah,
sing
yeah,
or
that's very
play
sad. It's
drums.
very unfortunate.
You know,
It's called
very funny.
Kabutarbazi. It's called like it
Yeah,
was socially everybody knew it. I don't know why it took so
yeah.
many years and why it had to be Diler Mehndi to be involved and get this racket exposed. I don't know whether it is. I think there are stiff restrictions now. It may not be this option may not be available many popular anymore. But I'm sure
Yeah.
by in the meanwhile they must have found some other means to find avenues to Europe and America.
In fact, his brother Mika is also very greedy because you remember he was caught at customs by Samir Wankre, and Samir Wankre did not leave him. He had to pay a huge amount, So so it runs in the family. But I must tell you a very interesting incident. When he came to Dubai, the late Mehdi came with his whole troop, and I got the chance to interview him. And on a lighter note, we were having lunch together the same day, and I was actually surprised by the amount of food that Daler Mehndi can eat. You know, it was like, two platefuls of rice and chicken and what. I stopped my interview I just to watch him eating. So that was a very funny incident. But I really loved his music. So there, I mean, we can't say that he's cheated
Very
us
sad.
on that.
That's very sad, and the
Yeah,
kind of beginning he has had, coming from a very
yeah,
modest background and reaching to this level.
yes,
I think it's very sad. It's very
yeah,
sad happening. So even Sir Navjot Singh Sidhu, what
yeah.
kind of he was a role model for the whole country, and what did
So
he
why do
what
you
did he
think?
become after
Yeah,
joining politics?
yeah, why do you think the judiciary takes so much time? 18 years. That's a very long time. Mandar is saying.
One is because the cases are so many piled up there, and they know it. The judges, the judiciary system keep on complaining we are not able to address all the cases we have in, and they give a priority to which are immediately to be followed up. But uh, there is also a way that you can use the very legal system to prolong your liberty and freedom. But
Yeah,
unfortunately, that is not available to many. Into the most of the 90% of the in the accused who are not
yeah,
even convicted, accused who
yeah.
keep on languishing in the jail because there is no one to look after them. There's no legal advice available to them, and many of them are for their petty crime. For example, a
Mm,
pickpocketing or somebody complaining against somebody, and he's languishing in the jail because there's no one to support them. I think you raise a very important issue. We keep on having social people attending to social causes, and
yeah,
I am. It's so disappointing that there are not many involved in providing this kind of service to the people who actually need it the most. People who have money, they can afford it, and they can afford to even wriggle out of the legal system, manage their own ways. How higher the costlier your defense advocate is, the better are your options in getting the relief.
yeah,
But
yeah,
imagine people. There are people who have been languishing in jails for decades, and
yeah.
if they are even convicted today, many
Mm,
of them will not get even 2 years or 3 years
yes, yes,
imprisonment. And that's very sad. And we are helpless. We don't know what to do about it. And you can open your Supreme Court for a terrorist like Mayman in the middle of the night
Yeah,
to
yeah.
provide, give him a relief. You have a special judicial system created along with the security, high class security for a terrorist jihadi like Kasab,
Yeah.
right? And he is provided all the facilities as per the law. But unfortunately, our indigenous communities, our own citizens remain deprived of that kind of attention from the state as well as from the so, civil society. That's very unfortunate. I hope and pray, and I would urge that you campaign for it, because there are many. You hear the stories; they are heart wrenching stories about the people who have, because of circumvention. Normally, people commit crime, petty crime, especially out of although it's not justifiable, but it's out of some kind of some kind of helplessness, poverty, and those people continue to be denied justice is very wrong. They should be punished. They should be convicted. Do that at the right time. They don't do that. But a terrorist like Mayman gets the justice, and the people
Yeah.
who provide that opportunity for him are the left liberal secular brigade of this country.
Yeah. Yeah.
They have access to the judiciary that they can open the court, especially for a terrorist like Majid. Man,
Yeah.
I'm quite. It makes me take pride in my country. And the very judicial system, when Kashmiri Hindus approached Supreme Court, they asked for justice. It was 3-4 years ago, and the very Supreme Court, he threw that plea on our face. He said, the honorable court says, like, where were you for the 27 years? Why will you find the witnesses? And can you imagine, as compared to the Supreme Court and the judicial system of Bangladesh, it's almost an Islamic country, right? There, jihadists were involved in the genocide of Bengalis at the time of in
Yes.
1971, 1771. They are at the age of 90 plus. They are being ordered now convictions and being hanged.
Yeah.
And my Supreme Court, I call them Kale Coat Wale, black coat wearing justices. We have a right. We will respect the judiciary, but we have the right to criticize constructively, not dishonor the courts, because I'm an Indian, right? I will always respect it. I said, despite the fact that they denied us, mocked our genocide, right? Yet I have not cast aspersions on my judicial system. Yes, the judges who were involved in, who have the audacity to almost declare Nupur Sharma as a convict, and make such kind of comments which are politically motivated. A judge is supposed to be drawing his or her inferences based on the arguments placed in front of the judge. But here was no argument. The lady is only asking for, because she is under tremendous threat, because there are vultures paying for her life, and she's seeking only to combine all the cases against her at one particular place, which is not new. You had done it in the case of that guy who was that celebrity painter. He did it. They did it for him. They do it every time. Whenever there is such a situation for any celebrity or any important so-called VIP. But why deprive Nupur Sharma? For she didn't ask for dropping a case. She was simply asking, which is a particular norm. Even if you have to deny it, but don't denigrate her even when the investigations are not complete against her. So this is activism, judicial activism, and the judges keep on complaining about it. But I don't see after they retire, when they are in service, they keep talking about it. We have so much of load on the courts. We are not expanding. They are not appointments. There are no appointments. But I think after they retire, they are the ones who should be leading this campaign to provide justice to the underprivileged people. And most of them who do not get this are underprivileged. They belong to a lower strata of the society, and we all tend to ignore that. That's very sad. And I urge again, please take up this initiative, campaign for the speedy trial of those under trials who are languishing in the jail for decades.
Yeah. Also, we heard certain news bits saying that Zubair's brother could be Kasab, and that Zubair has absolutely no background information. he has nobody knows who his father is or his mother is. We're talking about Zubair. He's known as Zubair of alternate news. And it seems that he has absolutely no background information, and he has been sent to do only to break India. Is there something you know more about him, Lalitji?
I would not treat Zubair as an individual. This is an ideology. This is an agenda. These are protagonists of an agenda. Whether it's a conspiracy or he is right or wrong, but I don't see any difference in the agenda they carry forward. The Pakistanis have the same agenda against us. India-born Indians have the same agenda against us. So from that point of view, yes, they are carrying the same agenda: destroy India, demonize Hindus, and defame India, and that they are carrying it off meticulously. Whether it is done by those guys chanting, ranting, shouting, Sartan se juda, right? Decapitation. Can you imagine in a democratic, the biggest democracy in the world, is able to tolerate the slogans of decapitation in public? It's not about those jihadis who are raising these slogans. It's about hundreds and in thousands people echoing the very slogans in the background, cheering for the slogan. They are actually, you can see those bloodthirsty crowds there, and I think it's a sign. But we all need to take cognizance of. Zubair is only a protagonist, and it's a huge campaign. Look how there's some of the television channels carry all through the day the movements related to Zubair's case. Well, Nupur Sharma is already a convict for them.
Oh God, yeah.
And this is very sad. This is very sad, and I'm not surprised. They have been there. They are coming into open now. But I think it's a lot of Sanatan resistance that has allowed, which I also again take pride in the Sanatan resistance, that it has allowed to flourish these kind of anti-India, anti-national, despite knowing the fact that India suffered partition, bloody partition, because of pan-Islamism inspired polity. We're not talking of religion here. We're talking of political Islam here. Yes, it's political Islam that was responsible for death and destruction that we have seen in 1947. It was done. Partition happened over the dead bodies of Hindus, right? And by the way, again recalling about the partition, you see, I have many complaints against my Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He is my Prime Minister, right? And many of us, all of us, have played modest role in Narendra Modi's journey from Gujarat to Delhi, right? We take pride in it. At the same time, I'm his big fan. I'm his worst critic as well, because I have a right. Because my nation, India, needs Narendra Modi's thinking, Narendra Modi's thought process for next 1,000 years. He's trying to awaken the people in slumber.
Yeah.
He said last year, as a prime minister, he can't be expected to speak more, because desperation is there, because they expect Narendra Modi to do everything in a jiffy. But then what would you do? What you and me are also expected to do many things, right? He gave a call for 14th of August to be commemorated every year, to be remembered as the day of horrors of partition. This 14th of September is coming very soon. Let people start campaigning for that. And what happened on 14th of August 1947? It was a great betrayal by India-born millions in the name of Islam, political Islam, and they created partition in the name of two-nation theory. And what was the two-nation theory, which is still prevailing? That's why we need to remember, it's not just 70 plus years old history. India continues to bleed because two-nation theory continues to exist in India. There are protagonists continuing with the same theory. When you're Maulana Madni of that, the so-called celebrity Maulana, he tells you on television screens that if you do not like my cultural symbols or my way of eating, my way of dressing, right, you leave this country. This is what the people who were against partition at the rate of 1947, the Islamists, who were against Jinnah, not because they had any love for your India, not because of their love for Sanatan civilization of India, not because India is a great country. No, they said we will have Darul Islam here in this India. Why should we take a part of it? And these are the forces that are coming forth. So we must remember the great betrayal has led to bloody partition, led to genocide of Hindus and Sikhs and both in East and West Pakistan, and genocide continues even today. Yesterday, a 16-year-old girl was kidnapped and converted by force in Pakistan. So we need to recall, remember, please campaign for it. 14th of August should be commemorated as a day of remembrance of horrors of partition. I don't know how could we celebrate 15th of August knowing what we did and what happened on 14th of August. What you got on 15th of August was what I call in Hindi, Kata Fata Hindustan Mila. Yeah. What did the guy torn in pieces? India he got. You had Pakistan on the left, Pakistan on the right, and there were so many states at that time still wanting to join Pakistan in the heart of India. Yeah. Hyderabad, even I have seen the Pakistani maps as late as in 80s. We showed Hyderabad in green color. Kashmir was always for them their own territory. Hyderabad, heart of India, they carried in their maps as green. So this was happening, yet we decided it's for the tryst with destiny and 15th of August, midnight speeches, and how we allowed the genocide. That's the time when we are getting dead bodies of Hindus, Sikhs in trains from that coming from Pakistan. And we ignored it. And it still continues. I think 14th of August should be commemorated, recalling the horrors of partition, because the consequences of it still continue to harm us, to influence the Islamist vociferousness in India. From Kashmir to the south, your Karnataka, your Tamil Nadu, your Kerala, your West Bengal, your today you heard in Bihar, for example, this one of the Islamist groups that's headquartered in Kerala, and of course your Karnataka.
Yeah, PFI.
They have already an agenda.
Yeah.
Islam to convert India into an Islamic state by 2047. And don't
PFI.
forget the relation between 1947 and 2047. 47 is a chosen number. 1947 was 14th of August 1947 was a big victory for that Ghazwa-i-Hind campaign that began 1,000 years ago. And we do not want to even talk about Ghazwa-i-Hind. And Ghazwa-i-Hind campaign is on. Kashmir Jihad is all about Ghazwa-i-Hind. And you have now dozens of Kashmir on the verge of erupting across India. So we need to be very, very careful. We need to be very, very conscious.
Yeah, in fact,
public campaign is very important.
Yes,
so 14th of August 2014, 1947 should be commemorated. I appeal to all your subscribers, please campaign for it. And remember those Hindus and Sikhs that we abandoned to the mercy of Pakistan. Those poor Hindus and Sikhs. Some of them wanted to come back. Some Dalit Hindus, they wanted to come back from Karachi. The Pakistanis did not allow them. You know what they told them? Who will clean the gutters of Karachi if we allow you to go back? And we tolerated in India, ma'am. We tolerated. We committed a sin. Congress committed a sin, and we collaborated in that sin.
Nisha says, it was very strange that Zubair kept covering his ears from being photographed. When the police arrested him, the ears can help with facial recognition, biometrics.
Exactly. I don't know. We find it surprising that all television channels carry his image. I don't know what you're talking about. Is it a conspiracy? Maybe they will investigate it further, whether he's a plant or plant. But what all he does, what all he and his partner do, they have been openly mocking in the Hindu gods. They've been mocking your politics. They've been mocking the nation. So yes, his face remains invisible. Yes, and the channels that are supporting him, they try to project as he's some celebrity, or he's a film star or something. They try to show him in that way. But yes, if they want, they can find out. Government of the investigation agencies can find out his roots. It should not be a difficult issue for them.
Meanwhile, another piece of news is that the security of the former Aam Aadmi Party leader and poet Kumar Vishwas has been upgraded to Y+ category from Y, following recent threat assessment. The Central CRPF has been provided security to him, and the renowned poet was accorded the security after intelligence reports suggested threats to Vishwas following his statement that Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal wanted to become the Prime Minister of independent Khalistan.
I know. As I said, we Sanatanis have been very tolerant Have you ever realized those people who on the hit list are those who are despised by left liberal these gangs? They are on the hit list. It's no coincidence. So we have to be very alert. And Kumar Vishwas, he speaks his mind out. He speaks when he's in Dubai doing his shows there. He speaks his mind out there also. He's in
Yeah.
his audience. You always have majority of them remain are usually invariably Pakistanis there, and he gives a message of brotherhood, fine. But when it comes to nationalism, he's always upright, and he speaks with his open mind. And in India, they and he speaks. So he has been the founder of Aam Aadmi Party. Who would know it better than him, right?
Yeah.
And we have seen, even if you want to place a question mark on what Kumar Vishwas claims about Kejriwal's ambitions, we saw it. He had no qualms about disrupting 26th Republic Day. He said openly, "What is Republic Day all about?" And the other day, when he mocked the genocide of Hindus in live uh, assembly in Delhi,
Yeah.
like he Juti film
Mm.
is a fake film about genocide. Like when he calls film a fake, he was mocking the genocide. It's fake. And within days, he changed again his attitude and suddenly became a compassionate supporter of Kashmiri Hindus. So you do not doubt doubt you doubt his credibility, because when he said, "I will never be to hold a post, I will never join politics," swore by his family, and that gives enough evidence. You don't need to Kumar Vishwas to say that this man can indulge in anything, is capable of doing anything. I'm told when he was campaigning in Varanasi against Narendra Modi, all left, extreme left, they were all campaigning for him there. They're all campaigning for him there in Varanasi, and that kind of information, this misinformation they try to, which is part of propaganda, which is part of this hybrid propaganda, that we are winning there, Narendra Modi is losing there. They try to create that confusion.
Mm.
The whole lobby, left liberal lobby, was very keen. They saw future. They saw future in Arvind Kejriwal.
Mm.
Then because after they're disappointed with the monarch, who has been perpetually waiting for his turn to reach the upper position in the Indian Parliament, so Indian state. So after he was a disappointment, they started pinning hopes in this man Kejriwal. I think now he's just become just another politician. He doesn't evoke any interest in anyone. He's just another politician there, and
Yeah.
and that too a politician who is arrogant, who is overambitious, and who can stoop to any level. Well, that I'm sure about. And I'm basing it on the facts that we all know. They are in public domain. Like he didn't want to be the chief minister. He didn't want to even join politics. He swore by his children, and then he didn't want to take a house for himself on the government from the government. He didn't want to take a car from the government, and then also how he mocked the genocide of Hindus. And he is a typical and a very subversive kind of a politician. So you can expect anything from him.
Yeah.
So I
And
hope and
also,
pray this Kumar Vishwas is properly protected, because he is a saner voice and he's very knowledgeable. You may not agree with him every time in his argument, but he's a very knowledgeable and very Sanatani scholar. And I think he's an asset to the society, asset to the India, and we need to protect him. He's on the hit list, so he has to be provided greater security.
yeah. Also,
After
we have.
yeah, just another thing this crosses my mind, because we talked about individual security after the assassination of Japanese ex-Prime Minister Abe Shinze. I think
Yeah.
he becomes a target of people of similar mentality,
Yeah.
who
Exactly.
want patriotism, nationalism, and he
Yeah.
has been able to inculcate to trigger resurgence, that patriotic resurgence in Japan. He has been instrumental in changing the constitutional provisions to allow Japan to pursue its own defense needs, higher investment in defense. So he tried to motivate the people of Japan to get over that Second World War syndrome, that they were perpetrators of some genocidal occupation in various countries and various campaigns. Right? He was trying to do that, and Narendra Modi, touchwood, he's the same. He has been trying to wake up, as I said, wake up the Indians out of slumber, and he is trying to be a Sanatani icon. Small things he does when he visits a temple, and he has no hesitation to wear a wear the colors on his forehead, and he wears his nationalism and Sanatani civilization on his sleeves. I think this is a message for the ordinary Indians who are even shy of putting a small bindi or a small tika on their forehead. So I think
Yeah.
he deserves more security, and he is a nationalist to the core. He is doing everything to promote Sanatan civilization in India. And I'm sure the security people involved in it, and through you again, I've been using this every platform in since this unfortunate tragedy occurred in Japan. So I've been talking about Narendra Modi deserves more security. Yeah, and
Absolutely.
India needs Narendra Modi for a many
Long
more
time.
years. Technology. Yeah, God bless him. Yes,
Yeah.
but
Uh,
I remained is the biggest critique and the biggest fan. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Also, you've noticed, Lalitji, that see, in the 2.5 years that Mahavikas Agadi has been in power, there was not much sound about Sushant Singh case. Now, NCB has charged Rhea Chakravarti in the drugs case linked to SSR. Now, the agency has sought to charge all 35 accused in the case, including Rhea and her brother Shovik. If convicted, the actor faces anything between 10 to 20 years in jail. Now, a lot of things have come out in this charge sheet. And what do you think is happening now? Do you think that the fear that these, the investigative agencies were facing before under the Mahavikas Agadi has shifted, and now action is slowly taking place? And why are they always saying, mentioning that drugs were being provided to Sushant Singh? Sushant Singh was not a drug addict. Sushant Singh was a normal person. These people were actually slipping drugs into his water and other things to addict him. So they are slowly twisting the words. Also, if you would have noticed, Lalitji, that in the charge sheet they are twisting the words to show two words that I noticed was one was ganja, and the second thing is because ganja is permissible, and also the fact that this man was being he was buying drugs from or procuring drugs from Ria and her brother.
See, first of all, this the agency that were involved in this investigation is the central agency. So, and the observations you have made, it's a very technical observation you have made. The kind of charges that are being levied against Ria and her brother and the others is ganja. Ganja is culturally or socially is an accepted form of intoxication most of the areas in India. So is it because they want to give them a free passage? And if it is being
Exactly.
done by a central agency, why are they doing it? Earlier, you also
Yeah.
talked about on your show. We discussed about uh, the guy, the superstar's son being exonerated, and today
Yes.
he has been returned his passport and all that. We all even discuss that. But I do not expect. Should we expect the central agencies to be indulging this kind of pampering? As I called it, pampering, or because when you had the Mahavikas Agadi there, you should not expect any role to play in this one because one of the leaders who is now in jail when Arnab Goswami was arrested, and we were all campaigning for him. And this guy has the audacity to come on live television and say, "हम अर्नब की ऐसी हालत कर देंगे कि वो खुद suicide करेगा." We'll force him. We'll create conditions that force him to commit suicide. He was serving minister there, a very important
Nawab Malik.
minister in Mahavika Sagadi. And now today he's in the jail today, right?
Yeah.
This thing happened after Sushant Singh's this so-called suicide became a news. And did he actually this star? And I have talked about this guy earlier also on shows. He was just not just an ordinary actor who became a celebrity. The kind of background he came from, I think that inspired a lot many small town Indians. Like you can do it. And he did not come back from a background that he came from theater. He did that local cultural activities, or he was just a school dropout. He just ordinary national school dropout. He was an engineering student. He has been a brilliant student and took admission in engineering college, left engineering, and then came for his first love, that was film. He came. In fact, he was possibly for inspired by Three Idiots, right? That pursue what you love to pursue. and the very industry tried to ignore him, tried to demotivate him, and we saw it on many occasions, many events. It was done in public domain, I mean, in front of everybody. So whether that's what it was a suicide, technically a suicide, he killed himself, but there is a very important aspect to it based on the statement this minister made regarding Arnab Goswami, that we'll create condition that Arnab Goswami will commit suicide. वो खुद आत्महत्या करेगा, right? Where conditions created for this man, Sushant Singh, to in desperation force him, that he was left with no option but to commit suicide. And that's a very grave situation, because forensic sciences, even if they declare that it was suicide, but what led to that suicide is something that to be pursued. Now that the government has changed that, and that can be pursued, either you give it to CBI, but as I said, central agencies may not be so foolproof in pursuing a particular case. Like you say today, the kind of terminology they have used for these brother and sister, although we have nothing personally against them. It's a menace. Drug abuse is a menace. Every Indian should be concerned about it. The same film industry made the Udta Punjab. They tried to even demonize whole of Punjab. But every Punjabi took it in a right spirit, that what the message in the film was, what every Punjabi realized, knew, that this is a menace that afflicts the society of Punjab. Similarly, we have to understand this is a problem, social problem across India. So we need to tackle it, not ignore it. And therefore, if as celebrities, as I said, they're inspiration. So if God forbid, if a celebrity is to indulge in naked, he's punished. That becomes a lesson for the common people who follow them. So this is simple and straight, right? So, but because somebody is a celebrity, you want to help him sail through the situation because he's important. He is wielding his influence in politics, in administration, and only those who do not have, as I said, there may be many people languishing in jail just for being caught smoking ganja among the under trials, right? They may be there in the jail. So if celebrities, the big people get away, that's wrong for the society. One, the main people get away, where poor are being targeted, and the message that should go to the society does not go, and this is a very harmful situation. Therefore, out of this situation, this thing, I think the local police should now be pursuing. Now that the government has changed there, and there are some BJP who are not politically ambitious. They're not seeking power. Some of them were very vocal at the time of those crises when it was when not many people could raise their voice in Maharashtra. And those people, Ram Kadam, I think one of them is Ram Kadam. Yeah, we were on many debates together. People like him should pursue and make the local police, investigate the case thoroughly, because the case is already lodged there. It has not been formally declared how Sushant Singh died formally, and they should insist that this case has to be solved, because there are millions of his followers await final closure of this case. And as I said, even if forensically it was a suicide, the theory that he was compelled to commit suicide, I think that needs to be pursued. And there are people like, for example, you read it in the charge sheet. I read it in the on the television screens, that these brother and sister duo would purchase it and hand it over to Sushant Singh. So even if he was a boyfriend, he was a lovable, he was an ordinary friend, he was close to them, they shared the apartment, right? And if he was ill, addicted, the responsibility was not to feed him more. Responsible behavior would have been to take him for counseling. If suppose we believe that he was an addict, to take him counseling. That wasn't done. Instead, these guys will go and purchase it and increase his the trauma that he was undergoing, without even taking, even at least his sisters should have been informed, his parents should have been informed that this man is a drug addict. He needs treatment. So that was not done. I think these are aspects that need to be that the concerns that need to be pursued. I think Sushant Singh needs a closure, that case. And if he was led to death, that's murder, and that cannot be ignored. just because the forensic report says it was a suicide. But going by the leader, which keeps on echoing in my eyes, we speak on many platforms. Was it a was it a trend under these circumstances? There in Mumbai, there are many film stars, even some of the colleague, one of the colleague of Sushant Singh, who fell from a terrace of a
Disha,
multi-story building. Her
Shashank.
death has to be investigated. And that girl whose mother is living in London, the actress,
Yeah. Jia
how
Khanna.
she, how she was forced into committing suicide. So it's just that it's quite possible the people who were despised wanted to get rid of them. They were not killed directly or physically. They were compelled to kill themselves, and that's murder.
Or made
That's
to,
homicide.
or rather made to look like suicide.
Yeah, or make look like the room, for example, where this Sushant Singh died. In that particular room where he was killed or where he committed suicide, that room has totally changed. I'm told that it has been put on rent. How could you do that?
Yes.
Which
See,
government,
here
which local
also,
authority allowed it to happen?
Laliji. See, this flat belongs to Amir Khan's uncle. Okay, and
Oh,
all these people are in tandem. Whether you're talking about Farhan Khan, they shot the movie there of the Friends. So everything is connected. And then after Sushant died, Sushant's servant was working at Farhan Akhtar's house. So there's a lot of connection here. But one thing, Lalaji, I need to clear here is that it is a murder, because from day one we've been following the case inside out. And the kind of bruises that were on his body, it clearly shows that he was suffocated, he was beaten up, and his spine was broken, his legs were broken, there were marks on his face which showed that he could have been there's so many things. Just with the stun gun he could have been say. So he's been murdered, there's no doubt about that. Of course, as you say, they may try to present another story, that's different. But see, you will see that in many areas, see, for example, when this IFA awards was happening, Salman Khan was trying his best to get Rhea Chakravarti out of India.
there were a lot many of them trying to do, even amongst the
Yeah,
media. In the media,
and
she was,
no, and
yeah.
just a second. And he wanted her to give an award to someone. Who on earth will make an accused number one give an award to some actor or to producer or director? What is her status? Okay, so that was one. She was not allowed to go out. Now there are many cases. Now today also, many people say that Rhea Chakravarti seems very confident because she is sure that she won't be given jail. Now the kind of people who are supporting her are Satish Manishinde, one of the top criminal lawyers who always supports criminals. Okay, so there is a lot of the people who are connected around her, whether they are politicians or whether they are the cops or whether they are the journalists, the media, the PR. Everybody has formed a circle around her and trying to give her the support that she wants. So the first thing is that the scenario is that it is a murder. It is up to the family, which has been laying low. That is, I'm talking about the sisters of SSR, to go to the Supreme Court and say, why has there been a delay in the CBI? What is the CBI doing? Okay, NCB has come out with something. What has CBI done for the past 2.5, 3 years? They've just kept quiet. So here, Lalit, there's a lot of problems. They are trying to, I think the present NCB without Samir Wankhede, okay, now you have one without Samir Wankhede, is trying to build a narrative where
Yeah,
they will give a
that's what is
softer,
shocking.
yeah,
That's
softer
very shocking. It's a
sentences.
central
Yeah,
agency.
yeah,
Don't forget, it's a central
yeah,
agency. And
yes,
I think the way they are trying to take forward, and you've done a very intelligent observation, like
yes,
using a term, because when this case was in limelight, nobody used these
yes,
specific terms. They were only
yes,
talking about cocaine and all.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, remember? Nobody talked about ganja that time.
yes,
And
yes,
I don't know whether he was a smoker.
yeah,
So because every visual that came on the news channels, every narrative that was being from both the sides was being talked about was about heavy drugs, hardcore drugs, right? It was basically cocaine. Everybody was thinking of how many grams he
synthetic
was going to
drugs,
carry. Not
synthetic
this
drugs, yeah,
ganja. This is the first time we heard it in the
yes,
charge
yes,
sheet that it was ganja. So it's not just hiring an expensive lawyer. They have the right, they can spend money, they can have, and it's also saying, is there, as you rightly pointed out, is there an agenda to let them off?
yes.
Yeah,
On
and
a
that
milder note.
it's not only about letting them off. It's about it's about denying the justice to Sushant Singh and his family.
Lalitji, a lot of things have happened. For example, now Shah Rukh Khan's son has taken his passport out. It was being held. And then Siddharth Pitani, who is the eyewitness in this case, who has seen
He's one of
everything
the accused
happen.
in this case,
Yeah,
no? He's
yeah,
also now
yeah.
another accused in this.
He's been
He's,
allowed bail, on bail. So things are being hurriedly done. I believe that, see, Uddhav Thackeray is very scared that his son may be involved in this, allegedly involved in this. So now he's trying his best to get everything, even if they put the blame on Rhea and she gets a small sentence, doesn't matter. His son gets, out of it. So there are a lot of things being involved in this. And NCP is playing a strange game in this. And that is what is worrying the people. Because by now, Lariji, from the beginning till now, we know exactly what has happened, where and when, and who are the people involved in this. In fact, we have done more work than even the CBI has done. That's what we would say, because everybody has been giving, different evidences. So this is a very strange move, and many of us are very upset by it.
When Arnav Goswami was arrested during the lockdown, the first time I went to Jantar Mantar, some of us went, and
Yeah.
it was a public demonstration there, and I addressed the people there, and what came to my mind was that Mumbai has been taken over by a mob.
Yeah.
And it is what unfolded later on. How this Arnav Goswami, I think he survived as Supari, right?
Yeah.
The kind of people who were actually unleashed against him. Those counter experts, and the head of even the police department himself, right? He was so much adored by the TV channels because it was against this Arnav Goswami. And what I could think about that time, and that the minister made that obnoxious statement, brazen statement, that will create conditions for him to create suicide. And I know the day he was arrested and taken in that van alone, and I was very, very anxious. I was very worried that he could have been bumped off on the way to that jail, going through the jungles and out of the city. So he survived. He's lucky. Arnav Goswami survived. And was it a trend that time? Politicians were involved, gangs were involved. Who was controlling all this?
Yes.
Right? The whole setup that is now coming into picture. But at the same time, there is a worry. Will it be used for political purpose, a political agenda?
Yeah,
are you trying to win the loyalty or the support of somebody by using this card, or we will expose you? That's going to be very dangerous.
See, Lalitji, in an example, in a WhatsApp chat, it's very clearly said by a lady called Jaya in Kwan, saying that you dip this drug into water and he will not even realize that he is drinking something different. So you see how connivingly it is. Kwan is who? Kwan is owned by Salman Khan, but Salman Khan doesn't say that it is his. He disowned it the moment it came into problem. Okay. And Kwan is the one who hired Rhea Chakravarti. And Kwan is the one who was handling Sushant Singh's business. Okay. So Kwan has a very big role, according to the WhatsApp chats shown by the media, mainstream media, that they were supplying drugs to VIP parties. So they were, in fact, drug suppliers.
It's also worrisome. It's also worrisome. The very channels who were running this story from morning till evening those days, for days together, for weeks together, I don't know why they are running this news in the footnotes today. It's just moving as a ticker. Why?
Yeah.
So-called nationalistic media, so-called right of center media, even they have gone silent over it. And I'm worried about. I'm very concerned about Sushant Singh, because if you take the investigation in his murder to logical conclusion, you may be able to discover lot many other cases that have happened over the years, and we thought that somebody was drunk, a heroine. You remember that famous heroine who could have been the star? She had become in few with the what was that lady that starlet's name?
Parveen Babi?
No. Later on, she had just entered the film industry in a year or two. She was declared.
Divya Bharati?
Yes. she was supposed to have fallen from multi-story building. It could have been an
That is a lie.
accident. It could have been
It is a
anyway.
lie. Yeah.
But such
She was murdered.
accidents have happened very frequently in
Yes.
Mumbai, as we got to know through television reporting only when the Sushant Singh case came into picture. So I think
In
all
fact,
those cases need to be
Lalitji,
investigated.
yeah, in fact, Lalitji, we've done a series on this. I've written to the
Okay.
Prime Minister, why are these actors and small TV actors being killed in this manner and then shown as suicide? Because the pattern is the same. They show the women as sluts, which means that they're not married. Now, Divya Bharti was not married to Sajid Nadiadwala. Okay, Sajid was already married, and it was the father who forced Sajid to marry the dead body before it was burnt. And if they put a sari on her, they put the tikka on her, and that's because the father insisted on that. And every girl that we talk about, they have been projected as sluts. So to show that Indian women are easily available. So there is a pattern. I've done a series on these television actresses. They're all good girls coming from good backgrounds, but they've been projected as this, and they've been trapped by men who are already married. And when they cannot extort enough money from them, they are killed. So there's a pattern to the whole thing. It's all extortion, vasuli. It's all this government itself was a vasuli government.
My God, it's exploitation, and Mumbai, like any other. I also said it on one show. It's a ruthless industry. They don't care there.
For
it's
what?
A ruthless industry.
And Lalitji, for what do you think Sushant was killed? Sushant had enough money. They wanted to loot him high and dry. When they realized that he's not going to play the game, and have all these what you call white shell companies which launder money, and he refused all that. That is when the game started. That now let us.
And he wanted to come in public and disclose certain things. That's what was said that time.
And finish him off. And that was when he was going to give a press conference. So this all happened.
Yeah.
Just like in
it involved
Tharoor's case.
Big names.
Yes.
Very sad. It's very sad. And that's why it's very important to take this case. I think you have been you have written to the Prime Minister also. Please write again. Since you have been talking about, you have been working on it. Take it forward. Make these points that you have made today, right? And I think you should carry it forward. And justice is very important in whatever way. And the closure, parents need the closure of this case.
Lalitji, what we are doing is we are writing a letter to also Eknath Shindeji about this. So the copy will also go to the Prime Minister because
very good.
Prime Minister already has 2 letters. Now this is the next letter we are doing, and we will not give up till we get justice.
And Mumbai police has an opportunity to regain that confidence and dignity that they have lost over these years due to the political collusion there. Having the chief boss involved. Yeah, that's very important. Please take it forward. I think it's very important.
Absolutely.
Very important.
Yeah. Moving on to Maharashtra, just wanted to say a few points here, Lalitji. See, Maharashtra CM Eknath Shinde is becoming almost every common man's hero because he assures his support to the Hindutva ideology. And there are many things he's been doing. For example, in the bullet train project, he gives all the clearances. Now so it's not only that, he's announced 3 lakh aid to a family of Shiv Sena who died near Uddhav Thackeray's residence. Another point is that the bow and arrow symbol will go to, should go to Eknath Shinde. That is a plan. And then also cutting the petrol prices by 5 rupees per litre and diesel prices by 3 rupees per litre. So there are a lot of things that Eknath Shinde is doing without fear. So isn't it a good move from his side? What are your impressions of that?
When people come into politics from a particular background, from a particular social strata where you don't expect that kind of thinking, thought process, it is very inspiring. Why I'm inspired by Narendra Modi? The way he has grown up. He did not he did not come from a political family, not even as compared to even most of the BJP stalwarts in the party.
Yeah.
The day we realized that this man is rooted, is grounded, and that's what makes you that touched us most Indians. He can't speak good English. That touched me the most. Pretend it touches us the most. He speaks the way it comes into his mind, whether he's speaking half in Gujarati accent or Hindi accent, but he's speaks from his heart. That's everybody thinks about it. He speaks in Tamil Nadu. There also his followers understand him. Yeah, what he is speaking is from the heart. So because of his background, he has reached this kind of status that not only in India, his popularity, he's the most popular leader across India. Can you imagine this today? He's the most sought of leader, and don't forget, the most scrutinized leader, politician in the world. The way he, what kind of scrutiny he faced the Congress government was that they tried every means because they knew it. Congress only knew, not most of India did not realize that he's going to become the prime minister one day. But Congress knew he's the one who is going to be, he's going to be dislodging them and dislodging them forever. They tried to create hurdles at every step, impede his journey, and yet he came out, and in their regime, he came out foolproof. They couldn't fix any charges against him. Similarly, this man, Shinde, what is his background? An auto driver.
Yeah.
The other, I think he used to in that area, the other area. And I haven't heard much from his mouth, but whenever I heard, he speaks, his word speak of some kind of intent, right? Yeah. Some kind of intent. I find it very interesting. If he has taken these measures, the way he has handled all this operation, for example, whatever he did, it needed guts to challenge the Thackeray Parivar. The legacy, the Parivar he challenged, it takes guts, and the way he tried to do it, and now everybody is following in the in line. Even their member parliaments are likely to join their. So this makes him a very important, very intelligent politician and an intense leader. And these decisions he has taken, for example, in petrol, is a very innovative way to reach out to the masses, right? Number two, this bulletproof, this bullet train project, yeah, yes. This shows that he has a modern thinking, and I'm sure many more things will emerge in near future. And then also he has the support of this guy, Fadnavis, who is also very modern in his approach. And but nevertheless, initiatives have to be from Shinde, and he's from the ground. He's from the. He has started his career as an ordinary Shiv Sena, and he has gone to all the stages. And today he's the chief minister with such a kind of majority behind him from Shiv Sena itself. They are aligned with BJP, but this basic support is from within Shiv Sena. That's remarkable. I'm sure in future he's going to be a very, very successful leader, and I hope and pray he comes to the level of just like you have Yogi in Uttar Pradesh, and then you have Assam. I see him in that career. I hope he does. We have seen very little of him yet, but I hope he matches the caliber and quality of UP and Assam chief ministers.
Yeah. Also, one last point before we close the session. Meera says central government should have backed Sameer Wankhede. They did not. Now here, Lalitji, before you speak, I just wanted to give a few remarks. Meera, here I will tell you, see, of Modi ji's intelligence. See, the moment Modi ji realized that he has become the, cynosure of all eyes in the Mahavikas Aghadi, that he was being targeted by Nawab Malik and, Shiv Sena and everybody, what he did was to save this man. He just lifted him up and took him to Delhi, and from there he posted him in another department. This is to save him from the dirty tricks of the Mahavikas Aghadi. The moment he was removed and put to Chennai in another department, he was given 2 very prestigious awards the moment this government fell. And he got 2 prestigious awards from the governor of Maharashtra, so that showed that he had noble intentions. So the governor of Maharashtra cannot give him an award of such caliber without this nod from the center. So, Meera, I would see it that way. I would see it that Narendra Modi, who has been targeted for Godhra riots, knows the modus operandi of his opposition. And that is why this was done. I don't know, Lalitji, what your opinion also?
I also believe that it takes we have a change of government in Delhi. We have leadership change there. We have the thought process that has changed. The governance model has changed. But at the same time, your bureaucracy remains. It will take a lot of time to change the bureaucracy approach towards your governance system, which is politics oriented. And then it will also take a lot of time to change the ecosystem that has been flourishing in here for all these years. For example, I also believe Narendra Modi is being cut off from lot many issues that are happening. For example, in Kashmir, I say to here on your platform, I be speaking on television channels, every channel, that in case of Kashmir, my Narendra Modi, my Prime Minister, is being misinformed, ill-informed about Kashmir Jihad. The kind of feedback he receives is that everything is okay in Kashmir. It's not. So you are undermining the menace of Kashmir Jihad. The government is not acknowledging what formally acknowledging what Kashmiri Hindus suffered was genocide. Government is not formally acknowledging what they have on hand in Kashmir is Kashmir Jihad. It is pan-Islamism, is terror infested, is expansionist Islamism. So from that point of view, and I keep on talking about it, I blame the BJP unit, the Parivar unit of Jammu and Kashmir, which is ill-informing Narendra Modi. So the ecosystem, even in the political system, prevails. Even in BJP prevails. I also said on a public platform many months ago, a couple of years ago, Narendra Modi does not face any challenge from any political party, opposition party, because he has almost decimated them. If at all he has any challenges, they come from within his own Parivar and the political party, because there are many politically ambitious so-called center of right of center politicians, even in the political party. We know it, you know it. There are many contenders for the prime minister post, even within BJP. So therefore, along with the leadership, along with the thought process that drives this nation, you need to change the ecosystem. Ecosystem should be such that it should become it should lead the nation. Like you have a deep state. The ecosystem has to be such that it does not allow any politician who sits in a particular chair change the drive that is taking India towards a particular direction. So that till that happens, we have to live under these compulsions. For example, Vankade is one issue in whole of India, right? Narendra Modi has to attend. I don't think whether he gets time to attend to everything in one day, but he is such a meticulous guy. He sees day before yesterday's program, where all he went in one day. I was talking to some people. I say, you go for one event, return back, you are totally exhausted. This man has traveled across states, conducted so many events, and I'm sure now he'll be back in Delhi in his office and indulging in his left work for the day. So he's doing so much of work, but at the same time, it does not match. It's not congruous with the ecosystem that is available to us, that has been growing, that has been being such for the past 70 years. We got the legacy is from Imperial Britain. Same IAS, it was civil services we inherited from them. Babudam we inherited from them. That has to change. That ideology, I say, when this our IAS, the administrative services syllabus has to change, because it continues the same guys read in JNU and similar institutions. So that has to happen, and Narendra Modi cannot change it over time. It's a long process, but we have to keep on talking about it. That's what I hope in Narendra Modi. And I keep on saying, don't wait for 5 years to assess Narendra Modi's performance. Assess him every day and inform him, criticize him. Not they're not criticizing him, they demonize him, because the hate is Narendra Modi is now reaching hate against Hinduism, hate against the nation. Us who think Narendra Modi is an asset for this country, asset for the resurgence of Sanatan civilization ethos in India. So we need to keep him informing wherever any cases are there, because he's not solely responsible for it. I wish there was a possibility to clone Narendra Modi and place him in every ministry. It's not possible. To place him in every secretary out of Narendra Modi. It's not possible. Till then, we have to keep him informed and challenge any situation which creates a barrier between Narendra Modi and the people of India. For example, post election in West Bengal, that time I was very outspoken against Narendra Modi. I thought he had abandoned the people who voted for him in Bengal. I challenged Mithun Chakravarti, who was being promoted as the chief minister, possible chief minister of West Bengal. He even behaved like a coward. All the 70, can you imagine? 38% vote was Bharatiya Janata Party. 77 MLAs got elected, yet the ecosystem and the narrative by the so-called Indian intellectuals, civil society was created that it is the worst possible defeat for Narendra Modi and BJP. And they went into that syndrome. Narendra Modi started wearing that long beard and all that. He was just, as if he was living in disappointment. And India looks forward to Narendra Modi as a commander of the nation, right? So this has to change. We have to connect him with the people, keep connected. Those in the party and in the administration who want to disconnect, who want to disconnect the link between him and the people of India. I think because he's people's prime minister. So people like you have to play that role. Like you have made mention of, you have been writing to him. Please bring it to his notice. Where all he is lacking, it's your responsibility towards the nation. When you bring these things in the notice of my prime minister, it's our responsibility. As I said, Narendra Modi, this nation needs Narendra Modi's ideology. He's working for many, many, many decades to come.
Yeah. One last point before we close. Love is saying, Meenaji, please speak about SSR sister Priyanka's statements yesterday. Here, I'll just end it in two sentences, Love. One thing is, all this going on and on about, what they, want from the singer is all, I think it's all bullshit, because all she has to do is to request the Supreme Court to question the CBI on the delay. They're just beating around the bush and asking people to give taglines and things like that. It's all bullshit. So please, let us not even discuss this. If they want justice for Sushant, they need to go to the Supreme Court and they need to pull up CBI. Nothing more.
Exactly.
And she's a lawyer. Yeah, she's a lawyer. She knows the rules. She knows exactly how the courts function. So let us not go through this again and again, please. So that's my request.
Totally agree with you. Totally agree with you. It has to be pursued in a logical manner, in a systematic manner. And CBI is one. Supreme Court is the best. Go to CBI, ask for a special tribunal, special investigative tribunal to be established for this purpose. Investigate, because as I said, it's not about one individual we're talking about. Is we are talking about an inspiration for millions of Indians.
Yes.
Who actually within a small career, small span of time he gave to Mumbai film industry, and he rose to become this icon for the nation. I think you need to resolve it, close it, for the satisfaction of his parents and the rest of the family, and also the fans all across India. People may imagine they conducted yagna at Jantar Mantar in Delhi for days together, and those aspirations are to be met with. And like you have taken it up, we should urge the rest of the media also to take it forward, because they were the ones who made it a news in those days. Why are they silent today? Why were they silent?
In fact, Lalit, what we did was, all these people, who are on our channel, they wrote emails to me, addressed to the Prime Minister and addressed to the Supreme Court judge, on why we should get this case, fast forwarded. So much of work we've done. Now we're just waiting for this.
Yeah. We should not allow Sushant Singh's case to be used for political purposes. Yeah. We don't want it to be politicized. It has to be justice, justice, and justice. That's it. That's it. And also, I said, through him, if you take his case to the logical conclusion, you will realize you are bringing to justice lot many other such situations which have happened in the past.
Yeah.
They are unknown people. They may be unknown people, like you said, some budding actors, some in the middle of their career, they've been just eliminated by this coterie of so-called Thekadars of Mumbai film industry. And as I said, Mumbai was taken over by mob during all these years.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Lalit.
And we should also insist that Mumbai police should take the initiative, because it's a right opportunity for them to regain the confidence of the people in them.
Yeah,
like Mumbai police always had that. And I think they should pursue it on their own. They are capable of doing it. It's not that CBI would do it. I would rather trust Mumbai police. If they are guided, given free hand, without any political interference, I think they'll be able to investigate it much better in a more timely manner.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Lalit, for your time, and also clarifying a lot of our doubts. Good night.
Good night. All the best. Stay safe.
Thank you.